Kia ora all and welcome this morning to the next in our series from Explore Central North Island, our webinar series for trade. And I welcome you all. I say kia ora to you all and a special g'day to our friends that have joined us from Australia. I know it's a bit of an early start, so I hope you've got yourselves a nice hot cup of coffee to get you going for the day and all set to have an in-depth briefing on the Hawke's Bay with our lovely friend Heather Matthews. So for those of you that are joining the webinar series for the first time, Explore Central North Island is a collective of 8 regions on the Thermal Explorer Highway, Pacific Coast Highway and Volcanic Loop. And as a collective, we market traditionally to international markets, and many of you may have had the opportunity to come and see us in action at Eden Park at the Explore Show, which we are hoping that we will be able to bring back to our New Zealand partners and even our Australian partners by invitation come July next year. So 8 regions, 3 touring routes, includes a lot of the must-dos in New Zealand travel, including places like Hot Water Beach, Mount Maunganui, the fabulous eastern beaches of Gisborne, beautiful wines and experiences, Art Deco experiences of Napier and the Hawke's Bay, as well as the fabulous destination of Ruapehu with its skiing and national parks, the beautiful Lake Taupo district, the iconic Rotorua destination, as well as Hamilton and Waikato for caves, waves and hobbit holes. So lots to see in this part of New Zealand, and we hope that through the series that you're broadening your knowledge of what's available for those of you in trade. Gives you the opportunity to get off the beaten track and holiday like a local. Lots of direct flight access, rental cards available at the other end as well, of course. And the best thing at all of ECNI is that it's easy to navigate because it's such a compact region. So nowhere really is far. You can sit in your car for 45 minutes to an hour and come along to the next really fantastic destination. So it gives me great pleasure this morning to welcome Heather Matthews. She's the Marketing Manager for Hawke's Bay Tourism, and she's going to unmute herself at the moment, and we'll say kia ora and good morning to you, Heather.
Wonderful, thank you, Vanessa. Now I'm just going to share my, hi everyone, sorry, let me share my screen here. I am super excited to be joining today. Thank you for having me and thank you for coming, joining. Be a new face for a lot of you. I am the new trade marketing and sales manager. I came on board back in March 23rd to be precise. So day one was the day that level 4 lockdown was called for a trade role, and I've recently moved down to Hawke's Bay from Auckland. So it was awesome seeing a lot of you last week at the Tourism Export Council. Gosh, wasn't it amazing to kind of get everyone together in a room and have a good catch up. So I have designed this webinar to basically not only introduce myself to you as your main point of contact moving forward, but also to cover some of the key themes that we have here in the Bay. And in addition to that, I'm highlighting key trade product and calling out changes or updates, due to COVID-19 or any changes in the way that they're operating. So here we are. I'll kick on. Please do ask questions as we go along, pop them in the chat box. If I don't answer them as we're moving through, we will address them at the end, and then we'll open up the floor for questions and answers as well, just in case there's anything that you're dying to know and I didn't manage to cover. Cool. Okay, so Hawke's Bay, so New Zealand's food and wine country. I know Vanessa covered this in the highlights last week with the Pacific Coast Highway, but there we are located lower east coast of the lower North Island. We have direct flights from Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch. Christchurch is only an hour and a half and Auckland an hour. All regional flights, so no pesky security to delay getting on or getting off. And then, of course, driving, super accessible, 5 hours from Auckland if you're going to do it in one run, but also 4 hours from Wellington and only an hour and a half from Taupo, 2.5 from Rotorua. So as far as accessibility goes, it really is easy to work into any self-drive or guided itinerary. Hawke's Bay really is no one thing. It's almost a collection and a combination of a bunch of exciting experiences. Open skies, known for the low horizons, blue crisp skies, loads of cycling, golf, art deco, gannets. These are just a few of the themes that we're going to explore as we move through. And of course the wine. So Napier, which is only 10 minutes from the Gateway Airport of Hawke's Bay, is only a 10-minute drive from the airport. And of course, no visit to Napier is complete without some sort of experience of the Art Deco Trust. They are operating as they always have been pre-COVID, so they have daily departures of their walking tours and their vintage car tour options. The walking tours are certainly the most popular. They have 2 set daily departure times, 10 and 2, and then they do add an additional departures as required. So on those really peak weekends or when they've got a lot of trade bookings, which book out the scheduled tours. So generally those 11 o'clock and 4:30 departures are going to be added for the walk up for the public. So as far as you're concerned, when it comes to working in timings and working them into itineraries, it's the 10 and 2 that you kind of want to focus on. And that's an intimate guided tour, and travellers get to know Napier better by exploring the Art Deco highlights. The vintage car tours are amazing. So there's a number of different car options, and they go for about an hour and a half, return to the Art Deco shop, which is what you see in the top right hand corner there. And that's about an hour of driving or an hour of touring around by one of the local passionate guides. All of the guides, we're super excited. I shouldn't say excited. We're very proud of the fact that most of them are volunteers. So they're all passionate volunteers about Napier, about the history of Art Deco here, about the recovery from the 1931 earthquake, which led to the Art Deco architecture. So they really are locals hosting your guests or your travellers, and that gives anyone's insight, I should say. So great things grow here. We're New Zealand's leading growing and producing region, which goes not only from stone fruit and apples and the horticulture and agriculture side, but also farming, and then and what falls into that was, of course, wine. Our restaurants regularly feature New Zealand's top awards, and most chefs boast using at least 90% local ingredients, which really helps contribute to that identity of New Zealand's food and wine country or capital. We have several markets, including the famous Hawke's Bay Farmers Market, New Zealand's largest market. And of course, anyone who's doing a self-drive itinerary or on a scheduled tour in here in the weekend, that market really is like a must-see or a must-work in. It also led to the creation of the Hawke's Bay Food and Wine Classic. We've just come off the back of the summer one. And this is a special event where 60, 70 events happen in unique locations all across the region. And people can buy tickets. It happens over a 2-week period. And there's also another Hawke short food and wine classic that happens in winter. So if your clients are coming from a shorter distance, so maybe from Australia, or they're second time visitors to New Zealand, or the domestic customers, those events are really great options to work itineraries around. It's also New Zealand's oldest and second largest wine growing region. So home to 200 vineyards, 76 wineries, 38 cellar doors. We generally lead in full-bodied red, so the old Bordeaux blend, or Syrah, and we're certainly becoming very well known for specialising in rich and complex Chardonnays. This food and wine story really contributes to a lot of the tours and activities and attractions that we do have on offer here in the Bay, and so much more. But we'll launch into what we have on offer in the food and wine space now. So a number of the restaurants, and like I said, I want to focus on what you can include in itineraries for trade. So while there are a number of restaurants, award-winning restaurants here listed: Bistronomy, Central Fire Station, Piku, Pacifica. Pacifica is one that seems to have got a lot of attention in recent years. So these are all restaurants that, while they don't necessarily have set menus on offer for trade to book and pay for on behalf of clients, they certainly do work with trade in the sense that they book reservations and mark down that the client is with a specific operator. So you can ensure that they're going to be well taken care of. Some of them are moving in the direction of being able to be booked and credit accounts with IBOs or the trade, and that's Bistronomy would be the first. So there's something to watch. But in the meantime, someone's stay in Hawke's Bay extra special, making sure that you get them a reservation at one of those top restaurants is certainly going to be a highlight. You'd of course just note in their itinerary that the cost would be on their own, and they choose from mixes. So we have an outstanding wine tourism culture. Or a sommelier that will take you through each of the wines. There's food and wine matching experiences, and there's also the opportunity to blend your own wine depending on what your clients are into and where they fit from a budget perspective. There's VIP experiences, so everything from super niche experiences through the more mainstream, where you'll have a guided tour on a 34-seater coach through a number of the more well-known wineries. So, and even at certain times of the year, I think this is particularly cool. But certain times of the year, there's opportunities to even help with the vineyards at picking parties. So in that process, they're really getting hands-on. So Prinzi's Tours is one that a lot of you will be familiar with. Prinzi's left corner photo. Prinzi's is operating as per usual, so no changes post-COVID. They specialise for that adventurous traveller who prefers smaller groups. They have scheduled half-day and full-day tours, exclusive private tours for groups up to the more mainstream, with the half-day options. They've been the winners of a number of different awards over the years, but one thing that we want to note here is that they are, sorry, I'll just make sure I'm not missing any comments. I'm probably talking too quickly. Oh, okay, sorry, looks like there's some trouble with the connection. I'm going to turn off my video. I apologize, guys, but please do keep me posted if hopefully the audio improves. But keep me posted in that chat box, guys. You won't be able to see me now, but I will continue to talk and I'll try and be slow. But let me know in the chat if it doesn't improve at all, or if it does. That's always nice to hear as well. So Prinzi's. The one product that we do want to highlight with Prinzi's is their exclusive winery or boutique winery offering. So if you've got clients who are particularly passionate about wine or are looking for something that is more behind the scenes, Prinzi's have a really great option where they take clients around either a half day or a full day. So it's a smaller group, so up to 12. And they go to wineries that don't have public cellar doors, and they arrange to meet with the winemakers. And so in different locations at the wineries, sometimes it's through the vine, sometimes it'll be in in the cellar. Sometimes it'll be, so that's that really behind the scenes, the meeting with the person who's making the wine and hearing about what it is that makes that particular wine special. And that's a fantastic product, and it's been taking off a lot over the last couple of years, particularly as more small guided groups are coming through Hawke's Bay, and or as people are travelling in small groups together, so whether it be family units or specialty tours. Oh, I'm hoping that chat's going to, I am going to check. So, I'm just hoping that someone's saying that the orders. Oh, there we go. So next is Odyssey New Zealand, and I know that a lot of you are very familiar with Odyssey because of their progressive winery dinner option. So that's the one that they have a 3-course dinner, and they move through different winery restaurants, including sightseeing and fully guided commentary. They have champagne at sunset up at Tamata Peak. The one note that I did really want to make here is that so Odyssey is fully operational. They're certainly doing less with the absence of the international market, but they are absolutely available to book as per your rates and product descriptions that you have, because they're almost doing it based on demand. One thing to note on this Twilight tour, progressive dinner, is that it is a restricted commission rate for this product that is to do with and at which they can continue to demand. So if you do have any questions on where that commission rate sits, do contact them. For the most part, if you're packaging it in, that's where your opportunity is to increase the margin. But yeah, it is important to note that that's not at the 25 like all of the other products, or you know, or if you're a wholesale, it's at the 10. Okay, this one if you don't recognize me, that's me there in the photo. I'm particularly proud because I finally got around to doing this a couple of weeks ago when we were hosting Tourism New Zealand. So Smith & Chef Hiratonga Wine Studio, which is probably one of the lesser known products, and it's new to the Hawke's Bay scene in the last couple of years. It is a truly unique and original wine experience. So it's unlike anything in New Zealand. And to be honest, I've done a lot of wine experiences through the work, you know, all over the globe, and it's unlike anything I've kind of experienced anywhere. But it very much is like an interactive sensory tasting experience. So you're guided by a sommelier, and it includes barrel samples, like what we're doing here in the photo, and it's set up in an intimate studio theatre. It's almost hard to explain, but it's a 2-hour experience, and sometimes if the sommelier and the group really gel, then they kind of go on for as long as the group wants to proceed. But it explores the story of 3 different New Zealand vineyards and their commitment to excellent wine. So it's not only about Hawke's Bay wine, but also North Canterbury and Central Otago. So if you have clients who are making their way down the country, it's a really incredible way of kind of rounding out that experience and telling that wine story the whole way through. It's also important to note that it's not just for, you know, wine connoisseurs, it's for anyone who just has an interest. I am by no means a wine expert, but it's almost like a safe zone for people to ask those questions that they've, you know, always been curious about, with an expert who has the time to engage and just really talk through all of the different things involved in winemaking and you know what contributes to the taste. It is incredible reading the feedback from this experience. So I can only highly encourage you to explore it, but also it's important to note that it can be included as part of a wider day tour, so by the guided tour operators. So Prinzies, Odyssey, Bay Tours, all of these guided tour operators do work with Sphere and they would take care of all of those reservations for you. But completely separate to that, if you have guests in town, travellers in town, and they want to go off and explore it, then there's a retail rate and it's fully commissionable at a trade rate. So they have contracts and rates available for the next 2-3 years, I believe. So I can't go through every single different tour operator and their offering, but there is ample tour options available, and a number of award-winning businesses. If you're ever in doubt, or if you're ever having trouble contacting someone who you've worked with in the past or you're curious about, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. The reason that we've not mentioned any closures or is because there haven't been any since COVID. I suppose in a way we're a fortunate region in the sense that it was all very seasonal. So at the moment it really is all working at the status quo for the food and wine tours heading into the 2021 season and then 22. Another really great aspect, I suppose, of our product offering is everything that celebrates the great outdoors and nature. So there's a range of walking and hiking trails, from short walks to full day hikes and multi-day activities. But there's also the great walks. There's a great walk of New Zealand, Lake Waikiri-Moana. I know, as far as booking that on behalf of people, there has been some trouble up there with the reliability of the ferry for the transfer, but State 38 shuttle transfer is in full operation, looking after, I don't think they've ever been busier actually, and they also have trade rates available, so if you don't have contracts with them, reach out. We're also known for our cycleways. We've got over 200 kilometres of super easy riding limestone trails with easy connections to cellar doors and cafes and artisan producers, restaurants and different growers. There's whitewater rafting down the Mohaka River, the National Aquarium of New Zealand that offer the penguin encounter, a very popular trade product. And again, unlike anything you can do anywhere else in New Zealand, that penguin encounter is actually, you go in and you actually feed the little blue penguins. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, so it used to be that there was 2 departures a day, but that reduced to 1 because that was actually more out of care for the animals, and opposed to being COVID related. The demand is certainly there. So every day at 1 o'clock there is an option for up to 4 people at a time to go in and do that penguin encounter, all trade ready, all commissionable. Golfing holidays, Cape Kidnappers, Gannet Colony, which leads to one of the more exciting updates from the region, which is the Gannet Beach Adventures Tours. We are super excited that just last week that we announced, after 2 years, the iconic tractor tours up there at the Cape will be recommencing at the end of this week, so the 11th of December. So this, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this, but it's a unique, fun eco experience tour appropriate for people of all ages. It goes for 4 hours. It's considered, mild adventure, and they travel along the coastlines, along the beach, below the cliffs, from Clifton to Cape Kidnappers, and then up to the Gannet Colony. So very, very cool and very iconic for Hawke's Bay. So in addition to that, we've got Gannet Safaris overland and into the next few seasons haven't been impacted at all by COVID. In fact, I think that the Gannets must have got word, because I believe that the colony's never been larger. So we had and they came early. They came in quite early in August this year. So this Gannet Safari tour is different to the tractor tour in the sense that it's modern 4x4 vehicles, and the way that they get to the Gannet colony is across the private farmland and native bush. So there's no walking required. It's, I suppose, more of that premium product, or for maybe the less mobile, but also for the conservation enthusiasts. It goes through the farm, which is up at, the farm at Cape Kidnappers, the luxury lodge. So it's very cool. multiple departures a day. And then they also are still operating their sunrise tours and their private Range Rover tours for those who are more at the premium end of the market. The sunrise tour is a great way of working in that experience for people who are maybe more short on time. And sunrise, they have a beautiful breakfast spread at the Gannett Colony for the sunrise, and then they're back at the base and they can go off maybe to do a wine tour that day, or if they're heading off out of town. It works really well for those with less time. Takaro Trails, so they must have been one of the longest running cycle tour operators in the Bay. So, and they have products that cater to beginners through to experienced riders, half-day tour options to full day, and then to multi-day. So those multi-day do a big circuit around Hawke's Bay. It's almost like a cargo rail trail, but they head along the coast and then through the vines and then farmland. So a real range of options there from Takaro. They are also operating as per usual, apart from the fact that probably doing a lot more FIT with the New Zealand customers at the moment, but they still have their guided stuff on offer. The beauty of working with Takaro and a number of other operators is that there's the option to ride in one direction and then be collected, van pickup, and returned at the end of the day. So, and there's a lot of loop trails as well, but that way the client can be dropped off in the area that's going to best suit what they're looking for, whether that's the estuary or the coast or the vineyards, because they want to stop in at the cellar doors. Waimarama Māori Tours is just such an incredible a special product. It's an intimate and personal spiritual way to discover the ways of Māori. It is definitely niche, and it's more at the higher price point. It's very popular with those staying in the lodges or at the retreats. And clients share the Waimarama culture, get to know the people and feel for the people in their sacred landscapes. Hakakino is a reserve, a special reserve out at Waimarama, and that is where a lot of the tours take place. So the local guide, who's also from Waimarama, iwi, is the one who takes the guests through. So it's small groups, max 8 people per group, and then they hear the local stories and the tales and the legends of the ancestors of our our unique place, not that of New Zealand in general. They're currently limited post-COVID, they have currently limited their scheduled daily departures, but they are absolutely available on request, as per all of the contracts out there, and they have full intentions of going back to full operation or scaling back up for the 2021 season, when the borders are reopening. So I would certainly encourage you to continue to reach out. They are keen to take care of everyone and anyone as the inquiries come through. So just follow what you've got there in the contracts. So a range of retreats throughout the Bay, from cottages in the countryside to boutique art deco luxury on the seaside. We've got a number of beautifully appointed accommodation options across the region, with stunning views and incredible culinary experiences to match. Really important update is Art Deco Masonic Hotel, which is the middle photo here, and is the historic hotel down there right on the Napier Marine Parade. So the Emporium restaurant is now back up and running and open. They had closed, I suppose, temporarily when the first lockdown happened, and so they've just got back up and running in the last month, which means that meals on site and are all back to being fully available. The scenic Tapania Hotel, which is probably one of the most iconic for the region. It's directly opposite the conference centre there on Marine Parade, so very central. It is currently closed because it had some flood damage a couple of weeks ago, and and that terrible rain we received. But it was only the bottom floor, so they are fully projecting that they are going to be back open and up and running by the end of January. I do see that there is a, here we go. Yeah, so by the end of January. So you may have had some clients impacted if you did have people travelling this summer over the last couple of weeks, but yeah, that's all on track. Loads of different vineyard retreats, so Kiwi-esque, Black Barn retreats, Craggy Range, lots of coastal options, and rural, through to rural. Wallingford Homestead in particular, I think we're going to see a lot more from them in the trade space. They are currently absolutely available, although they've kind of only really hit the market in the last 12 months. And then this incredible, I suppose, luxury boutique homes are going down towards Wellington. And they have the most incredible culinary offering. Each meal is included and hosted 5 courses for the dinner, and then this beautiful 3-course culinary experience for breakfast, and an incredible wine list. But you'll probably see a lot more from me about that as they move to improve their awareness in the trade space. Sorry, just got a delay in the slide. There we go. Sorry about that. Private luxury. So these 2 venues may be quite familiar to you, or they may not. The top is Craggy Range Lodge, and the bottom is Black Barn Retreats. What we've really seen post-COVID, and certainly even from the trade market into, whether it be 12, 18, 24 months out, is that the private villa or private retreat stays. So these are both really great examples of that. So they're boutique accommodation, they're among the vines, or they've got incredible views, and there's options from like 1 bedroom up to 4 bedroom or 6 bedroom lodges, and they are private use. So if you've got a group, whether it be a family unit or a small tour group traveling together, it's fully private use. And then they have all of the different options, being a private chef coming in, or more often than not there's a winery on site, so there's food as an option that way. But it gives that exclusive, unique experience, and it's certainly one that Hawke's Bay does very well. Oh, there we go. So touring routes, I won't go too much into this because I know that Vanessa covered it at the beginning, but we sit within the Pacific Coast Highway and the Thermal Explorer touring routes, both of which are promoted through our work with Explore Central North Island, so ECNI. And we also fall at the start or at the end, depending on which direction, of the classic New Zealand wine trail. So if you're looking for a trail for maybe a first time or an enthusiast international client, then the New Zealand Wine Trail is a great one. You're traveling through 3 major wine producing regions and Wellington, which of course has incredible restaurants. And while it is the wine that kind of makes up the trail, there's certainly a lot more non-wine related options to keep people entertained along the way. I've highlighted here because I will send them out for people's reference, but the key regional events, in addition to great food, great wine, great climate year round, we also have a number of different events. So while you may not build an itinerary around those individual events, it's certainly worth having a look or being aware of what's on in case you can work it into an itinerary for someone who is coming, particularly whether the wine festivals or for the food and wine classic, or even the arts festival, because it's a great little one to add in there and show the personalized touch for clients as they're coming through. Check out the art festival on tonight, it's free of charge, or etc. etc. We have a number of different agent resources. So an image library which is continuously being improved, and is available there online. So you would just select the images that you want and send through the request, and you can use them as you please. You have me now. I know that there has not been a trade resource for Hawke's Bay for a little while now, but I'm absolutely here and available, whether it be with suggested itineraries or trade-ready operator introductions. At the moment, one of the ones that I really want to highlight is the famil interest. I figure let's not waste the opportunity. This is the next 12 months is a great chance to get people down here and experiencing it, and seeing what we have on offer. It's true what they say as far as never being able to sell something better than when you've experienced it yourself, and that is certainly an area that I want to put a lot of focus on, that and getting our resources right for you to use and to make it easy for you to feature Hawke's Bay in your itineraries. We also have a YouTube channel, so there's a range of video content. Explore Central North Island, which we work with quite closely, and there's operators on there in addition to itineraries, and then of course the New Zealand Specialist Program. Very conscious that all of these links have come up as white, but I'll make sure that they're blue when I send it through. So if there is anything at all, please, I would love for you to reach out. And if I don't already have the information, I can certainly find it. But I'd also love to work in a catch up with you and the team, or just an understanding as to what you're looking for from a region like ours, and how we can make sure that we're keeping you up to date with all of the information that you are looking for. And I suppose any questions that you may have, particularly as we head to the borders opening. Here we go. I think I'm going to attempt.
Heather,
oh yes, hi.
Hi Heather. We did have a question from Sonia Adamek regarding Odyssey Tour. Is that
yes.
seat and coach, or is that private?
Oh, both. They have both options. So there are, there are scheduled departures each day, multiple scheduled departures each day, but then also private options if you wanted them for a private group. Is that what you meant by that question? Yeah, I'll see if I can. I
believe so.
Yeah. So both are available, and that's where, brilliant, thanks Sonia. That's where I know what they in particular have on offer post lockdown. In fact, unlike a lot of the other operators, their scheduled departures have been impacted. Maybe they historically had 2 a day, they've gone down to 1. I know that they've updated that with everything that they've sent out for the contracts, but they're available for both. Oh, cool. I'm loving some of this. Oh, wonderful. Thanks, guys. I'm getting distracted by the chat coming through, but it's just lovely feedback. So if there is anything, I'm going to follow up with you all. Hopefully your contact information is going to be shared with me. I think a post. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Vanessa. And so I'll send through a link to the presentation, but also all of the resources. And then if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, because thoughts are with you, and we're super excited to see the trade market come back as the border starts reopening.
Awesome. Hey, look, Heather, thank you so much. I'm going to take your screen sharing off now so that we can see your gorgeous face. And thank everybody for joining us today.
Awesome. And if I can, just one last, I did see that there was a question there. Yes, please do. If you are interested, or if you have any of the team that are interested in famils, please reach out, because while I will have some scheduled departures going, there's also the boutique very tailored options if you're restricted on time, depending on who it is that's coming down. So by all means, just send any expressions of interest my way, and we can coordinate on how we can make that happen.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Heather. Okay, that's it from us today. I really appreciate the time and effort you put into that, Heather. There's some great information there for our trade partners, and I'm hoping that that's broadened the knowledge of our visitors to webinar today. And as you can see here, there's a very approachable lady and really happy to help you all with whatever you need to know more about this part of our beautiful Central North Island. Don't forget our website here is a great place to grab the links to this webinar series, and we will be uploading those videos as well of what we've had. We're also looking forward to uploading an online resource, which is a library of operator product updates, which will be short little vignettes updating everybody in terms of products on offer that are working with trade. So what have we got coming up on Wednesday morning? We continue with Jo from Ruapehu. She's going to be talking about her part of the world, which includes the fantastic national parks, the Tongariro Alpine Crossing, as well as a beautiful Whanganui River. My husband just rode along the Whanganui River actually, and believes it's one of the most amazing canyons he's seen in the world, and he's been and seen a few. So I look forward to hearing more about what's happening in that part of New Zealand for trade. And we're going to be doing that on Wednesday morning at 10:30 again New Zealand time, with the remaining 3 on Friday, Monday and Wednesday of next week. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate your time, the time that you've taken. But, you know, as with our proverb that we have here, with your basket and my basket, the people will live, which is all about working together for the greater good. So keep up the good work, team. Hope you have a great week, and I hope this was a good start to your week with us.